LEGO's made some pretty bad Star Wars sets over the years, and today I wanted to talk about what I think is the worst LEGO Star Wars set each year from 1999 to 2022. Remember, this is all just my opinion, and I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with my picks. I'm not going to include microfighters or mini sets, and I'll try my best not to include buildable figures. Also, some of these years don't really have a bad set, it's just that the set I pick is just like the least best set for that year. Starting off all the way back in 1999, which all of you know is the first year that LEGO Star Wars came out, I'm going to have to go with 7111 Droid Fighter. Now, back in 1999, LEGO was pretty limited of what they could do because they had a pretty limited variety of pieces, but I feel like this set was kind of just a filler set for the year. It has no minifigures and it doesn't have any functionality at all. I think they could have at least thrown in a battle droid or two just to make up for how the set doesn't have any functionality, but instead they decided to make a set that literally doesn't do anything and it has no minifigures. Moving on to 2000, I'm gonna have to go with 7159 Star Wars Pod Racing Bucket. The pod racers in this set are just not good, and we know that LEGO had the ability to make good looking pod racers back then because the pod racers that came in the Mos Espa pod race set are absolutely amazing. This set, on the other hand, it looks like there is no effort put into it at all, especially for the time back then too. It literally looks like it was designed by a 3-year-old with the option of pieces they had back then. Really, the only good that came out of the set was that it came with an exclusive minifigure, which is Alderbedo, which as you can see does not look the best. Other than that, this set is just honestly forgotten, and I don't think it was very popular in 2000 to begin with. I'm just kind of disappointed that LEGO didn't put more effort into these pod racers because they definitely had the potential to be really good. Moving on to 2001, I'm gonna have to go with 8007 C3PO. I almost made it a tie between C3PO and the Stormtrooper that came out this year, but the Stormtrooper actually resembles a Stormtrooper. The C3PO just doesn't resemble C3PO at all. And at least the Stormtrooper has one of the old school spin-gloated missiles. The C3PO on the other hand just does not look good. It barely even resembles C3PO except for the head, and there's way too much black in it. I mean, literally look at this thing. It looks like something from the DreamWorks movie Robots. I think if they just made all the pieces gold, it would have been better. And this set is based off of New Hope, so obviously they weren't intending to make the gray C3PO from the prequels. But instead they decided to throw in so many black pieces, and I just don't know what they were thinking. Moving on to 2002, I'm going with 8009 R2-D2. Now don't get me wrong, this set is not near as bad as C3PO is. It's just there were a lot of other better sets that year. The head does look a little funky because obviously it's kind of hard to make a halftone out of complete Technic pieces, but it makes up for it because it has a lot of functionality and at least they got the colors right, unlike C3PO. For 2003, I picked 4480 Jabba the Hutt's Palace. And you guys are probably like, Michael, the Jabba the Hutt minifigure is so rare and the other minifigures are so valuable and exclusive. And don't get me wrong, the minifigures are really nice. All of them are exclusive except for Jabba the Hutt, which appears in the Sail Barge that came out in 2006, but he's still pretty valuable. And the other minifigures are really great for their time. What really gets me about this set is just the build. It's just ugly. I think if LEGO really wanted to make a Jabba's Palace, they wouldn't have made it a $30 set with only 230 pieces. I think they could have added a lot more pieces to make it look like an actual building or palace and raised the piece count to at least 700 or 800 and made the price $90 or $100. I think it would have made it one of the best sets in 2003, and honestly it would probably be way more popular today too, and the value would be much higher. I do like how they included some effort to kind of include a Rancor pit with the trap door that goes to the bottom floor, I guess as you could call it, but I think they should have just made it one floor and made it bigger and included more pieces, and it would have made this set golden. Now 2004 was a bit of a different year because there was not really a bad set this year. I would almost call it a flawless year because there are only 15 sets released this year and they were all pretty good, but the set I'm picking for this list is 7262 TIE Fighter and Y-Wing. The reason being that this set was literally remade 3 times and this was the 3rd time. It first came out in 1999, then came out in 2002, and then came out in 2004. And the only thing that sets the 2004 version apart from the 2002 and 1999 version is that the Y-Wing pilot is slightly upgraded and it has a difference of 3 pieces. I think they definitely should have just upgraded the builds. Like, I mean, the set itself is a good idea. They should have just upgraded the builds. It was 2004. They definitely had the ability to. I don't know why they didn't. Moving on to 2005, this is definitely one of the best years for LEGO Star Wars. It was the year Revenge of the Sith came out, which is one of the best Star Wars movies, so of course a lot of good LEGO sets came along with it. But the set I'm going with is probably one of the least popular sets of this year. It's 7257 Ultimate Lightsaber Duel. Now, I really have my fingers crossed that LEGO will make a diorama set of Anakin and Obi-Wan's duel in Revenge of the Sith in the future, but for now, all we have is this one and the one that came out in 2019, I believe, but even that one was still pretty bad. Now, the idea for this set is pretty cool, and they made it a play set and actually managed to make it look pretty good. It's just, there's a lot of other better sets that came out this year, and I've heard people say that the mechanism that's supposed to make them fight just doesn't really work well, and that the figures fall off really easily. Moving on to 2006, this was definitely the hardest year for me to choose a set from. This year was absolutely flawless, and when I say absolutely flawless, I mean absolutely flawless. There was just not one bad set this year. There were only 11 sets that came out, and they were all just so good. We got a TIE Interceptor, a B-Wing, Jabba's Sail Barge, a UCS ATST, and the list just goes on and on. But sadly, at the bottom of the totem pole, which actually happens to be one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars sets, sets is 6205 V-Wing Fighter. Now please don't think there's anything wrong with this set, because there's not. This year is absolutely amazing and there's nothing wrong with this set. It's just compared to the other ones, it's the least best. Moving on to 2007, this is another pretty good year. This one was actually really hard for me. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but the set I chose is 7657 ATST. Now, I actually really like this set. There's actually nothing really wrong with it. Again, it's just the least best set from this year. But with all the LEGO ATSTs that have come out, the complaint for me is that you cannot fit 2 drivers in the cockpit, when in the movie, there are clearly 2 drivers in the cockpit. And also, I think the brick-built head looks kind of weird. I feel like they could have done it out of panels like the new ones are, but it doesn't look bad. So there's really nothing super wrong with this set. Moving on to 2008, which was the start of the Clone Wars era, I'm gonna go with 7680 The Twilight, and oh my goodness, is this set goofy looking. What really gets me is that I honestly don't know why LEGO chose this ship to make into a set. None of the minifigures are exclusive, and Rhoda already came in the ATTE, so I don't know why they had to put him in this one. I know it was a pretty prominent ship in the movie, it's just that it's not a very good looking LEGO set, and even in Star Wars, the ship is pretty ugly. And for 2008, it was pretty overpriced too, with 882 pieces and a price of $100. I just wish LEGO would have chose something else or have just left this set out of the wave. Moving on to 2009, I'm going with 8015 Assassin Droids Battle Pack. Now, I actually like this set, and I think it's pretty unique, and I like how it includes 5 droids instead of 4. I just think that it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the sets from this year. It's supposed to be the counterpart to the Clone Walker Battle Pack, but I think they should have just made a battle pack that has normal B1 battle droids. But don't get me wrong, I really like this set, and I really like the metallic droids, and the speeder is pretty clean and unique too. The 2010, which is another great year for LEGO Star Wars, I'm going with 8099 midi-scale Imperial Star Destroyer. Now, I'm gonna sound like a broken record at this point, but this is another year where there are absolutely no bad sets. I know people sometimes hate on the Freako Speeder, but I really like that set. So if I had to pick a set that was the least best set and the set that I would choose under all the other ones, it would be this one. I think the idea of midi-scale sets is pretty cool. It's just that it doesn't include any minifigures, but like it's a midi-scale set, so that doesn't really matter. So really, there's no real complaints with this set. Moving on to 2011, I'm going 7931 T6 Jedi Shuttle. Again, this is an amazing year of LEGO Star Wars sets, and there's nothing wrong with this set. I just think it's the least best, so let's move on. Moving on to 2012, again, this is a good year, but I'm going with 9499 Gunyan Sub. Now, I know this was the first Gunyan Sub that they made since 1999, but I think 2012 was just not the year for new Gunyan Sub. I think they should have made it in 2011 when the new Naboo Starfighter, new Pod Racers came out, and the set was also extremely overpriced, being $70 for 465 pieces, but if you ignore the price, this set itself is pretty good. Moving on to 2013, I'm going to 75018 Jek 14 Stealth Starfighter, or JEK. I don't even know how to say its name, but oh my gosh, this set could not be more irrelevant. I can't tell you guys enough how much I don't like LEGO original Star Wars shows. This set is just garbage. The show is unknown. The minifigures do look pretty cool. It's just that why does LEGO even make their own shows that like get no attention at all? And then to put the cherry on top, it had 550 pieces and it retailed for $70. Now I get it had 4 minifigures and one of them had arm printing, but for how irrelevant this set is, I just don't think it should have been $70, and honestly just shouldn't even exist in the first place. Moving on to 2014, this is actually one of my favorite years for LEGO Star Wars, definitely top 3, but gosh dang it, they had to throw in another LEGO Star Wars original content set. Just take everything I said from the last set and apply it to this one, except it comes with an Ithorian Jedi Master, which I actually really like, and honestly if I would have gotten the set, it would have just been for that minifigure, because I actually think it looks really nice, and it's one of the most underrated Jedi minifigures. But take that minifigure out, this set is just awful. And I'm not gonna lie, even the ship itself looks worse than the other one did. I mean, the other one resembled a Z95 Headhunter, and it looked pretty okay, but this one just looks weird, and I don't think LEGO should have made this. Moving on to 2015, I'm going with 75106 Imperial Assault Carrier. Now, I actually don't think this set is that bad, and I would be putting 75110 Luke Skywalker in its place, but I said I wouldn't include buildable figures, so I'm just gonna go with this one instead. I think this set has pretty decent minifigures, and it has a fair price with $130 for 1200 pieces. It's just what I don't really like about this set is that the TIE Fighters look a little goofy and it doesn't really have an interior at all. Now we're moving on to 2016, which is when LEGO Star Wars sets started to get pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we've had like a great LEGO Star Wars year since 2014, but I have really high hopes for 2023. Anyways, for 2016, I had to make it a tie between 75147 Star Scavenger and the infamous 75098 Assault on Hoth. off. Now I want to talk about the Star Scavenger first, and obviously you guys know what I'm going to say. It's another LEGO Star Wars original content, which just automatically makes it bad. And the ship itself, it just might be the most hideous LEGO Star Wars ship I've ever seen in my life, and it's not really even worth talking about. Now moving on to the infamous 75098 Assault on Hoth. This set is titled as a UCS set, but it's literally a massive playset. Now I actually like the Snowspeeder that comes in this set. I also like all the minifigures that come in this set. It's just that I don't think all of this was really necessary, and it feels like it was just a waste of a UCS set for 2016. And everyone knows the shield generator has 3 shields instead of 4. Moving on to 2017, I'm going with 75177 First Order Heavy Scout Walker. This set is just weird. It doesn't feel like Star Wars, and it doesn't even appear in the movie, so that's really all I have to say. Moving on to 2018, what other set could I go with? It's 75201 First Order ATST. Now everyone knows this set just sucks. All they had to do was just include the head of the walker and it would look really good, but they didn't because they wanted to recreate the scene, so now it just looks dumb. Moving on to 2019, I'm just gonna go with all of the action battle packs, or whatever you want to call them. I just think the idea was not the best, and I really hope LEGO never does this again. Moving on to 2020, I'm going with 75284 Knights of Ren transport ship. Now this set had the potential to be really good. The ship looks awesome, it's just there's no interior and they should have made it a little bit bigger. The 2 Knights of Ren look pretty cool, but I think they should have included all of them and raised the price. Moving on to 2021, I'm going with 75302 Imperial Shuttle. Now I just don't know what LEGO was trying to do with this set. It's really small, and the minifigure selection is not very good. The 2015 version is just infinitely better. Now finally, here we are at 2022, and I'm not gonna lie, this was a tough choice for me between 2 specific sets. Now one of these sets I did put in my top 10 for this year, but I've since changed my opinion just a little bit, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for one, and I know a lot of people are gonna agree with me for the other. So the 2 sets I'm going with are 75323 The Justifier, and y'all aren't gonna like this, but 75341 Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder. Now everyone knows why the Justifier is not really a good set. I don't really want to get into that much. I mean, obviously it's overpriced, not enough pieces. The minifigures are pretty good, but it's just too overpriced, and the ship's kind of ugly. Now Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder, on the other hand, now I guarantee I'm probably one of the only people that has this opinion, but I think this is the second worst UCS set behind Assault on Hoth. Now I've talked about this before in some of my videos, but one of the best things for me personally about UCS sets is that they're minifigure scale, and I've always been able to tolerate the UCS sets that LEGO made like way oversized, like the Snowspeeders or the A-Wing and stuff like that, and those sets actually are really good sets, and the ships look really good, and it's not really obvious that they're so oversized. This one, on the other hand, is just leagues away from that. It's just so oversized, it's obnoxious, and people have been wanting this to be a set since literally 2015 or 2014, and ever since then I've always thought it was just an awful idea for this exact reason. Now the C-3PO is really good, but exclude that, what's the point in making a set so oversized? I mean, we might as well just make a UCS Bark Speeder. It wouldn't be much different than this. But really, that's the main gripe for me for this set, and it's a huge one. The set itself does look pretty accurate. I mean, it looks really nice, it's really sleek, it's too oversized for me. So I'm gonna put this one as another draw. But anyways guys, that is the end of this video. Please consider subscribing if you feel like it, and make sure to hit that notification button if you want to know when all my new content is posted, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!